Welcome to the Essence of Health Tea Time Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shayla Toombs-Withers. As a double board-certified family and obesity medicine physician with over 12 years of experience in medicine, I teach motivated individuals how to achieve their desired quality of life while preventing and reversing chronic diseases. It's tea time. On today's episode of the Essence of Health Tea Time Podcast, I have a special guest, Desare Flournoy. Desare is an event planner in Scottsboro, Alabama, and is the founder of Twisted Fork Vegan Festival. So thank you for joining me today, Desare. I am so excited to chat with you and have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we'll dive right in. Now, as someone who founded a vegan festival, really just tell us your story and about you growing up vegan and how that was for you as a kid.
Well, I grew up vegan. I guess we started when I was about 5. We didn't really know. My mother wanted to do it, but she wasn't really sure how to get started. And oddly enough, our freezer broke. And for 2 weeks, we ate everything except for meat. So we complained, of course, because I was 5 and my sister. And she was like, well, you've been eating this way for 2 weeks and didn't even know it. And I think perception.
Like the accidental vegan method.
Right. So I think perception is half our struggle because it's not as necessary as we think. But going through that, living in Wisconsin, it was a little bit struggle with cheese, but it wasn't that bad. So when I became 12, my mother decided that I could have a choice. And I did still choose to be a vegan up until about college.
Okay, good. So, and we'll chat more about that. What really influenced your decision to, you got into college to then maybe branch out a little bit away from that vegan way of eating?
Just surroundings. You have this disillusion that you're missing something. Things that you haven't tried. And of course, so you go full-fledged and try everything. And you just go back and forth. But I didn't really notice as far as a health difference until I was in, I guess, my 30s. And you can tell what you eat and how you feel. And you're like, no, that's not it. And then you keep doing it. And like, it makes a difference on how I feel. And so then that's when I think the conscious decision and that shift happened.
Right. Yeah. And then those of us, who've been more plant-based for years, we do recall times where things weren't as convenient as, things are nowadays. Even, like with yourself having a festival and being able to showcase all of these different variety of plant-based foods to people. You probably didn't have that when you were, that kid who was eating the food from the freezer being broken. So that probably made it.
I definitely cannot remember it even being a thing about Veg Fest or even being conscious. I remember being embarrassed going to Burger King because we were out, we traveled a lot, and my mother ordered us a Whopper without the meat. And it was a challenge. I mean, they just asked us over and over, and she was like, yes, over and over. And so eventually she ended up having to just get it on the side because they couldn't comprehend like how to price it. Mm-hmm. They called people, and it was just looking at that and then seeing now the accessibility is just vastly different. The healthy vegan things and the unhealthy vegan things. It's so different now, the common knowledge of it. And still we have a way to go. We still have a way to go. Being in the South and having a vegan festival is a different tone. It's different. Even though people know about it, it's still some challenges in perception that we have to get over.
Right. Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I'm a Southern girl, originally from Georgia myself. And I, even just remember growing up and having a lot of those favorite foods. For me, it was mac and cheese. I was, the creamier, the cheesier, the better that it had to be. Until my lactose intolerance really kicked in strong and was like, no, ma'am, you shouldn't be having that.
I think you have to do that a couple times to be, because I went through that in high school, like, that's not really giving me pain. But like, yes, it is. No. And it's interesting. There is a few restaurants here that have kind of got that memory for me. I was the Vuji in Huntsville, very, very surprised on her consistency of her mac and cheese. Very, very surprised. So that kind of gives me the warm and fuzzies when you need it.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Good, good. Now, so you spoke a little bit about those changes that were brought about in your 30s in your health that you started to notice because you had been eating more of a meat-based type of way when you're in college. So tell us more about that. Like, what were you experiencing that then kind of brought you back around to more plant-based?
I still think it was a little disillusioned. I could tell my thing is brain fog because I'm a creative. So 90% of my job is how I think and how I produce. And so noticing and even with my son, when he was having a test, the 2 weeks before, I would do just fruits and vegetables because I wanted him to have clarity of thought. And so just having that pattern, and you're like, I'm doing this to be healthy. Why not just have this as a lifestyle? Like,
Yeah.
but then you still have that fight. I think the first year of doing the festival, I still ate meat. And it was just, I know better, but yeah, it's okay. And then after what the hell, cowspiracy, like just the constant actual,
Yeah,
and like, you know better and you feel bad. Like, why are you doing this? And
right.
so that shift in just running 90 to nothing, having festivals in different states and being conscious of my health, it just became a no-brainer to go back to what I knew and what sustained me.
Yeah, and that's so interesting. So even though you weren't eating that way, you knew that at those times where your child really needed that mental stamina, or even when you for yourself, you knew what to revert back to. So it's like even in your mind, those connections were still there, even though you were
Yeah.
doing something differently.
Yeah. And I think that makes a difference. And, they say train up a child, but I mean, when it's in you,
Yeah,
you may looks weird, but when, it gets to that point, you go back to what's true and what you
right.
know is good for you.
Mhm.
You know better.
Yeah,
And
you do. Yeah. And I always tell parents, when I see kids in my clinic, I tell parents about introducing fruits and vegetables just to do it. Really, even if the kid, they may not like it the first time. I got a picky eater in my house. I have 3 kids. And so there's definitely some picky eating in my house. And a smoothie always works. And I throw all the things in it so that they still get that nourishment and those fruits and those vegetables because it's so important. And then what that shows us is that even for you, even though you kicking and screaming as a kid and didn't want those things, but it was still instilled there and
it's
you knew,
there.
yeah, how you felt.
And as parents, I think we want to lean more toward to what they love, but to be honest, they will love what we love. If you
Hmm.
have a parent, I will never forget going to my girlfriend's house and her child, 2 years old, picked up a book, put it back on the shelf, didn't write on it, but she's an author. Her child has a special love for books because she's an
Yeah,
author. If you're a
right.
chef,
Just
your
seeing
child
that.
will have a certain respect for certain things. Your child only won't eat them because you don't give it to them. So you
Mhm.
can't be like, well, why won't they? You don't eat it. But
Right. That, yeah.
it was funny because I gave him every, I hate to say it like this, but every nasty vegetable first. That is the
Mhm.
first thing that I put in his palate because I needed you, for one, I wanted him to have a clear palate. I didn't want him to have a lot of spices and I wanted him to have a clean palate. And to this day, he can taste things that I can't taste. But
Mhm.
I wanted him to have that first because I know if you have the sweet, there's no way you're going to go to this. But when you come out the womb, you know nothing. And I think
Right.
we do our children a disservice not to give them that because they
Mhm.
only will do what we give them. They are literally a blank slate. You're four
Right.
foot tall. I control your life. There's no
Mhm.
way you can't tell me they don't eat vegetables.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
same thing with my niece. She said that, and so in the spaghetti sauce, I put squash, zucchini,
Mhm.
green peppers, everything, carrots, and I
Mhm.
put it in spaghetti. She eats it
Right. Yeah.
till
Because for
she was
kids, it's for kids and as well as adults. A lot of times it's not about the way it tastes, it's the
Yeah.
mental. You see these little broccoli sprouts and they're like, oh, it's green and it's, prickly or whatnot. And it has nothing to do with the way that broccoli tastes. You put it over in a blender and mix it with some strawberries and all of a sudden it's good. But it's still the same thing. Right.
Yes, very much so, very much so. And it's like she'll eat that way. And then she'll be like, yeah, what are you eating? And then after a couple of days, she'll be like, can I taste it? And even if she says she doesn't like it, you tasted it. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, that's my goal. You had it, tasted it.
Exactly. That's yeah. That's awesome. Well, good.
If you're frustrated with your weight, taking more medications than you like to, have been told that you are at risk for the development of a chronic preventable disease, or just are not feeling in the best of health, then I'm talking to you. Why? Because you're tired of fat dieting. You know it's time for a change, and you want a sustainable plan to improve your health. If you have found yourself at this place in life, well, I have developed a program that's just for you. It's called The Essence of Health, and it's your prescription for transformation. My goal with this program is to give you the tools needed to create sustainable lifestyle changes within a group coaching setting, along with one-to-one individualized coaching to give you a personalized path to health that's just for you. The benefits are priceless, so join today. Head on over to eohcoaching.com to learn more. The essence of health is in you.
And now that you have gone back to more plant-based way of eating, what changes have you started to notice in the way that you feel physically and mentally?
Mentally, definitely less brain fog, but there's still a struggle because of me and starches. Me and starches have it's a relationship, and I go over that in the book, but it's like I will be fine. I will do I will eat the way I normally eat and I feel great. And then pasta comes or rice comes. And I know that and the funny, because I eat better, the immediate pain that I feel when I eat rice, I wake up the next morning and I'm in pain. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you cannot do that. And so it's more far and few between, but I want to make I want it to be more of a habit versus, I don't want it to be conscious of how I eat. I think I should just be able to eat healthy without the, for lack of a better word, temptation. Mm-hmm. I think we rely too much on our palate. Mm-hmm. We rely way.
And is it still those grains and starches, or even more of those animal-based things?
Bleached. No, the bleached stuff. The animal stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the bleached rice, the bleached pastas. I have to have in my house the wheat pastas. I have the brown rice. I have black rice. I have those kind of things to counter. When you go out and do
more processed things, sounds like.
Yes,
gives you issues. Yeah,
the processed things. The processed vegan meats, not as much a challenge for me. I don't really focus on that. But it is funny because when you feel yourself getting like sluggish, I'll immediately go eat a green pepper. I mean, like an apple, slice it and eat it. And I can tell the shift. I can shift and I can tell that I feel better. And so I can definitely tell immediately now. And I don't know if that's because I'm over 40, but I think it just,
right.
Your body. Yeah.
And did you notice any differences after you stopped eating more of the animal-based meats and cheeses and things?
The heaviness.
Okay.
The heaviness, just physical heaviness. I don't know how to say it. Like, I guess like the Thanksgiving food, but you would have that most of your day.
And that would definitely make you sluggish.
Yeah, people equate that to being satisfied, but that's not. Satisfied is like 300 bites before that I can't move. Like when you're full, you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. That's when you stop. Not when, but when you have the meats and the potatoes and all of that together, you get that way quicker. That stuffed that stuff sluggish is not okay.
Right, right. Yeah. Plants are energizing, especially because of the anti-inflammatory and the antioxidant properties of them. Yeah, they are just naturally going to be more energizing for us. And so, are there any surprising or even unexpected benefits that you found when you started going back more plant-based and took out a lot of that chicken and beef or those other things out of your diet?
I know this probably sounds weird, but just body chemistry. Like I don't
Uh-huh.
like deodorant. I mean, this your body chemistry is just
Uh-huh.
interesting how it changes, and it's definitely different. It's better. Like I don't
Yeah.
use it as much, and it's different. Your chemistry changes. Your
Yeah,
body
that makes
changes.
sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really body chemistry changes.
Yeah, because a lot of the way, we sweat and a lot of the pheromones we let off are because of what our hormones are
Yeah,
doing. And so, yeah, by eating more plants, then we're able to rebalance those hormones. And so,
yeah.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, yeah. But that also tells me too that you've been really in tune because I don't think I've had anybody make that connection before that they notice that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
definitely
that's
know.
good. Yeah. Now, as the host of a vegan festival, I know you mentioned a little bit when we started that you weren't even vegan when you started this festival. So tell us a bit more about that and what inspired you to host a vegan festival.
Well, I have a few of my clients were chefs, and their food was amazing. As I said, from Wisconsin, I have a special love for cheese and butter. And Heaven's Healthy Kitchen makes a butter that is greatness. I mean, it's solid and it goes to soft. And so he wasn't, I just felt like more people should know about him. So I wanted to showcase him and Parker Burgers. And I was like, okay, I could do something small. I worked at an event hall. I could just, do a small event. Y'all bring some food. People can know who you are and you can get some bookings. As people found out, they were like, well, can I be a vendor? And I'm like, I guess so. That's fine. And people kept asking, and we ended up with 32 vendors. And I got let go from the event hall 7 days before my event.
Oh no.
And I was like, okay, what are we doing? So we passed an empty building. My son said, well, ask them if you can do a festival. I said, you just can't do that. He said, why? I said, well, I guess I really don't know why.
Right.
So
I
we
love
called.
kids because they do. They will question.
Right. So,
They don't see boundaries.
I don't know. So we called, and it was an empty Joanna Fabrics, and they said, sure, you rent it for 2 weeks, 15,000 square feet. It was amazing. I had people show up the day of saying, can I be a vendor? And I'm like, sure. And it was so awesome. I think that first year we had maybe 400 to 600 people, and it was just awesome. And I mean, you know how when God shifts you, you're like,
Mhm.
really? Like this? Like,
Right.
I mean, I felt odd because we were hungry setting up. And so I told my mom, I was like, just, can you go get me something? And she came back with 2 burgers. And I was like, I feel weird about this. Instead of a vegan festival, we're eating burgers, but I'm hungry. My baby's hungry. We're eating. So, but it was like after that, it was crazy. After the second one, my son went full-fledged vegan, shoe size 14, full-fledged. And it just really hit him. And I was like, that's weird. Because I didn't raise him healthy,
Right.
but then with me, it took me a little bit longer. But literally, it was just to showcase people. And the festival now is to showcase my vendors. I used to be a vendor, so that's very important to me. If my vendors sell out, that's one of the KPIs that I use for a successful festival. Like
Yeah.
that's important to me. Because I mean, these are blood, sweat, and tears for their business. Some vendors have been in business a year, some had been in business for a while, but this is them. And
Right.
and that tone from the beginning has stayed consistent, because that's kind of what I want. The education piece where we talk to people about being healthy and how to deal with diabetic naturally, deal with fibromyalgia naturally, those are pieces that came along with it.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, it was definitely showcasing vegan entrepreneurs. And now it's educating and showcasing.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. And one of the things that I like about vegan festivals is that one, the passion is you see, you have a bunch of people who are just really passionate about having people consume more plants or, taking care of our environment. And you have all these people under one roof. But then I also love that people who aren't vegan and who may, won't necessarily go to an all vegan restaurant, but they
Right.
want to try it out. So, festivals give people that way to just dabble a little bit and see what it's
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
that's definitely important. And that's why in the beginning, they were always free. I think this is the 7th year. This is the first year we've ever charged. And I think it's like $3, but we've
It's still
always wanted
minimal. Yeah.
that. Yeah, I wanted that because I didn't want that to be a barrier to entry. I
Mhm.
need you to come in and notice that, okay, I could taste this. Okay, I can, deal with my health. I've eaten festival food all day and I'm still not overdrawn and exhausted. Like, I need you to have that understanding. And the only way you're going to have it is being in it.
Right.
When you're in it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And that's the best feeling. That's the best feeling.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And so, what advice or insights would you give to someone who is considering making a similar dietary transition like you did, or who has maybe, been struggling a little bit with finding something sustainable and healthy for them?
It's a mind shift. So just do something, do one thing. I mean, if it's eat a piece of broccoli, eat an apple, eat a cucumber, do something different. Because that one step will keep you moving forward, but you have to do something. You don't have to be total. You don't have to, I mean, even
Right.
meatless Mondays is something, but you don't
Yeah.
have to go completely to the left. I care less. And I know it's bad to say, I care less if you're vegan. I don't care less if you're vegetarian. I just want you to understand that there's a connection between your mental, physical, and what you put in your mouth. That's important. And I need you to see that and understand that. And that brain shift, even if they do nothing with changing their palate, if they come to the festival and have that brain shift, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I always tell people even within the vegan world, I mean, we have so many labels that we put on things. And like you said, it's not about the label, whether you're, vegan or lacto this or, that. Just put some plants on your plate, eat the plants, and see how much better you're gonna feel. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, try it.
Yeah. And so tell us, what is your favorite plant-based recipe or meal since you've been around all those vegan chefs?
Um, okay, so I'm a simple girl. I'm a simple girl. And it's really, really, I'm a simple girl. I love, 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 love tofu and broccoli. I do. I
Mm-hmm.
love, of course you have the nacho cheese with the potato, carrot, and cashew cheese with the nacho.
Uh-huh.
My sister puts yeast flakes in hers, which is absolutely amazing. So
Mhm.
I love that. That's like a basic, like yeast flakes, of course, is a basic vegan go-to, but that
Right. Yeah.
that melty cheese, but the tofu and broccoli is my love. But I will say, being in Scottsboro, I've become addicted to tomato sandwiches.
Ah, uh-huh.
I know, like the Ezekiel bread, the olive oil, the tomato sandwich, fresh basil. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mm. It's lunchtime. You're making me hungry.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, awesome, awesome. Well, Desiree, it was so fun to have you on the show, and I appreciate you joining me. Now, just share with the audience, how can they find the Twisted Fork Festival, and then how can they even connect with you?
Okay. Well, Twisted Fork Festival is twistedforkfestival.com. And you can check in. It tells you about the festival, where we're going, what state we're going to be in. Also, with personally, you can connect with me, Desare Flournoy, at LinkedIn. But Twisted Fork Festival is probably the easiest. We're on Instagram, Twitter, we're even on TikTok. And
Awesome.
all of them are labeled Twisted Fork Festival.
Awesome.
And our
Awesome. And
event
I will
on
be
July
sure
30th.
to get those in the show notes. And you said the event is on July 30th, correct?
July 30th at the
Okay.
Veterans Foreign Affairs Fairgrounds in Scottsboro.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, for those listening, be sure to check it out. I may even see you there. I'm trying to attend it. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on the Essence of Health Tea Time podcast. Click the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss a moment of the Essence of Health Tea Time podcast. Check out the show notes to obtain your free tips for healthy living guide to get you started on your health and wellness path. Follow me on social media at Essence of Health Wellness Clinic on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and at dr.tw@EOHWC on TikTok. Interested in becoming a member of the Essence of Health coaching program? Well, head on over to www.eohcoaching.com. The essence of health is in you.